Here we go, here we go, here we go. We are going live. Here we are. Okay. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is where you are in your part of the world. Hello and welcome to Pixel Chatter number 54. 2 weeks away from Christmas. I'm sorry to remind you, but it's true. Hopefully you have got your Christmas list together and you've been nice, not naughty, because you know what happens if you're not nice. Now, let me see if I can get the chat up on my phone. So that worked really well last week. Let's bring that up. There we go. Here we go. Drum roll. What's going on? Am I too bright? I've got a new addition to the studio, and that's some lighting. I'm just wondering if I'm a bit bright. I look a bit pale, don't I? Let me turn it down a bit. Oh, that's the wrong way. It doesn't go down anymore. Oh, no. Oh, wrong way. How's that? Is that better? Let's see. Let's see if that's better. Feeling a little blown out. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Hopefully that's fixed it. You let me know. I think the lights are great because it allows me to have a little bit more control in the room here. So we'll see how we go with those. All right, let's have a look and see who's joining in. I think that's better. That's a better setting for the lights, eh? You tell me what you think. I'm just going to check in the phone here to see who have we got joining us this morning. Where are you from? What's going on? All right, g'day Chance, handy parts first. It's like a badge of honour, isn't it, to be first? 8:09 a.m, so getting ready 20 minutes before the live stream starts. Well done. Got my Pixel Chatter coffee cup here, of course. Tim, g'day. Cy Wheeler, fourth. Yeah, I put down that I was last. Everyone else was here before me. Amazing. Dennis, g'day. Brian, g'day. Who else we got there? GM01379. Good morning. Your parents must have hated you. Ah, that's just a username, I'm guessing. Okay. Born on the 1st of March 1979. Initials GM. That's what I'm guessing. I reckon I've got that nailed. Andrew, g'day, buddy. How you going? If you don't know Andrew, Andrew's a fellow YouTuber, Andrew Dawes. You can go and follow his channel. Feel free to put the link in the chat box, Andrew, and I'll share it. Who else we got here? Matt Sandquist. Good morning. Not really. It's 22:30 p.m. Well, it's 8:30 a.m. here in Sydney. Looking like it's going to be a glorious weekend. I think it might be the first official jet ski weekend of the summer. That's what I'm thinking. Christmas list, that's for the 24th. You haven't done that yet, obviously. Very Hollywood. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah. The new lighting. You know, it's because I think if I open this window up, it's really bright. And so I decided that I wanted to do more videos that I could just on the fly shoot in this room. Now, it's a tiny room, so a lot of the lighting's really big. You might have seen some of my other videos that have a white background. Well, I have a video service in my business, and so we have a studio in my office over at Norwest or Bella Vista in the business park. And so I've done a few there, but it's still, you got to go somewhere. So if I have an idea and I just want to film something, I don't have anywhere to do it. But this room is so tiny, it's hard to explain. Like I can reach back here to that cupboard that's against the wall, and I'm sitting in front of a desk, and that's it. That's the only space I've got, so it's pretty limited. So I bought these little things. I'll show you the back of them. Check that out. I'll try not to blind you. There you go. Look at that. How good are they? Tiny little lights. And that's on their lowest setting. Rechargeable, which means that I can take them out vlogging. You can move them around easy. The other ones, I've got two of them. This one's mounted on a funny arm, a magic arm. And it means that I've got some studio lighting, which means I don't have to rely on trying to get the lighting, because the lighting here is really harsh. Up above me is a downlight, and that's what cut this big shadow that's on me here. comes from that. So just trying to make it look a bit better. I don't know if I'm managing. Maybe we're getting too pro. Aussie Paul, 7 a.m. in the Outback. Of course it is. It's always earlier in the Outback. Does it have a diffused front? Yes, it does. They're little magnetic diffused fronts on them. And it came with gels as well. And they were about $50 each. So I was really impressed. And they're rechargeable. Rechargeable. My gosh, for $50. What's going on in this world? Everything's amazingly cheap these days. Here we go. Andrew has shared his channel. I'm just going to show that. It asked me to approve it when people put links in there. And Rick has spotted the Oki, the new game of pixel chatter. Good work, Rick. All right. Yes, he's been climbing the walls in the last week. He actually went out on a trip with me, but we didn't get him in a photo. Last Sunday I took him out with me. It was funny because I ran a workshop. In fact, that's a good chance for me to mention my Sydney Sunset workshop. The link is not down in the description, which is terribly unorganised of me. But anyway, that's how it goes on Pixel Chatter. But if you want to come to the workshop, just tell me. I know a lot of you aren't in Sydney, but I'm running these workshops. I haven't done any for a while, and I really enjoy it. And so I do Sydney Sunset / Night workshop, which is sort of different to what everyone else does because they either do a sunset or a night. And what I do is we get there with enough time to do some learning. We shoot sunset, and then we stay until it's dark. And I teach everyone how to get really sharp images at night because it is a different kettle of fish. And I took I had a camera bag down. In fact, not my normal camera bag. I'll show you. I've got this one here. Oh, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. There we go. I've got this one here on loan from a company called Wandered. Oh, let me show you. There we go. It's on loan from a company called Wandered. So it's not mine. And I guess they just want to see it on some of my social media. So here you go, Wandered. It's in my YouTube now. But it's actually not for that reason. I ran into the distributor. I love really cool stuff and gadgets. Anyway, I'll come back to that in a second because I'm getting off track as I normally do. So in that bag, it's got this little mesh pocket inside it, and I had the octopus in there, and I was getting my notepad and pen out to do this little lesson about how to read a histogram, and they saw the octopus. They said, "What's the octopus? What have you got an octopus in your bag for?" It was kind of embarrassing. I had to go, well, this is why. Anyway, so let me just show that message as well. And Andrew Dawes, handy part, subscribe to the channel. So anyway, so the octopus was going to be featured in a shot, but it never got there. I had 8 participants, which is my maximum that I do with 1 to 8. But to make sure everyone got good time, it was really difficult conditions. I don't know if you remember last Sunday in Sydney. If you're in Sydney, we had a southerly change. It was ridiculously blowy. Alrighty, g'day Spanner. It's a pet. Yes, it is. It's now a pet, and it'll be going everywhere. So Oki comes everywhere. And you just got to look out for him in my videos from now on because he'll be somewhere. I'm just going to plant him. It's going to be like Where's Wally, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So I've put Andrew's link into the chat box. Go and subscribe to his YouTube channel, but do not get distracted watching his YouTube videos right now. Now, Andrew is from New South Wales, and he's up north, and we're actually talking about doing a shoot or two together. So let's hope we can make that work. And you'll get some joint content from the two of us. Okay, yeah, so the Sydney Sunset Workshop, if you want to come along, I've still got some tickets available for Sunday, the 16th of December. We're going to kick off 6:30. I've moved the time forward to 6:30. I had the last one at 7, but people turned up late. So I'm saying 6:30 because I really want to get started at 7. So as long as you can get there by 7 on Sunday, it's $99 a ticket, including tax, and I will see you there. Okay, let's jump straight into the VIP winners. So I think that'd be kind of cool to do. The VIP challenge. Now, if you're wondering what a VIP is, it's you. That's right, you. Very important photographers. And what I did was, I'm just going to sip my coffee. I'm pretty hyped up this morning, though. I probably shouldn't be having caffeine. I love summer. Summer is my favourite time of year. Anyway, so what I was in lots of photography groups on Facebook. Some of them had thousands and thousands of members. And I found that some of them were not the greatest of groups for whatever reason. Some were great groups, but most of them I found were lots of spam in there. There was people that, did the whole arguing about, is Nikon better than Canon? Is Sony the way to go? Is mirrorless better than, like, all these stupid arguments, right? So, and then when I started this YouTube channel, I had a couple of people contact me that were, and I still get them. I get about, I don't know, maybe one every couple of weeks. I get a request from an email, usually some junky Chinese company with some weird product they want me to promote. I've had a couple from other companies, but I don't want to play with anything on my channel that I don't like. And I don't want to be controlled by, companies telling me what to say. Now, you don't know this, but I can tell you for a fact that a lot of the reviews and things that are done on YouTube, the companies tell them what to say. They give them scripts. They are not allowed to make any negative comments about the product. And I really don't agree with that at all, because that's unfair to you. I don't want to watch a review where something's not fair. So this bag here that I got from Wandered, it didn't actually come from Wandered. I was at an event, and the guy that distributes these in Australia had them there, and he saw that I was pretty stoked with the design. I really appreciate good products, and this is a good product, and you'll see a review on my channel soon. And he just said, I told him what I did, and I said, if you want to lend me one, I'd love to check it out. And he said, yeah, well, we could probably make that happen. And by the end of the show, that this display that he was doing, he just said, look, take one with you. Take one and see what you think. Really cool guy. So anyway, the VIP channel was started because I didn't want to have to rely on getting sponsorship, because that's not why I started this channel. And I don't need it to make a huge amount of money. It'd be nice if it did. I'd probably give up my business and just go full-time photography. But that might take another 20 years at the rate I'm going. But we'll get there. Because YouTube pays you very little, and I'm talking very little. And I think that, to be able to raise money from photography is very difficult, as you would all know. Lots of photographers are not putting food on the table. So I decided to start the VIP group, which gives you control over the group, not some big corporate. So to join the VIP group, links down below. You go to patreon.com/on3legs, and you can become a VIP, a very important photographer, for as little as $2 a month. And that gives you access to this private group. And, we haven't done a hangout for a while or anything special, but we're going to for Christmas. So I'm going to announce that today for the VIPs. And, it's just a great community. VIPs have met up with VIPs, and you also get goodies when you join up at different levels. So you can join up at other levels. Some VIPs have joined up and got, let me see, have got things like this, which is a beer can cooler. This one's got a Coke Zero can in it, but that doesn't matter. Just a beer can cooler. Or you can get your own mug. Now this is not the actual mug. The guys with the mugs, they got their personalised with your name on it. So it was a bit of a surprise for them, I'm sure. Okay. Looks like some people are just making comments here. Good, we'll come back to that. So let's do the VIP comp. And so every week I announce in the VIP group, I announce a theme, and everyone goes and shoots the theme. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat box as well, because I know if something goes wrong, that's the only way I'm going to know because of my setup these days. Tell me about the lighting. Is the lighting good? Does it make me look younger? Who knows? So let's jump over to my screen and we'll have a look at the VIP theme. This week was abstract. Here we go. So let's have a look through the images and see who put what in. So this one here is by Izzy, and Black Sand, White Surf, and Blue Hour. Love it. Great shot. Great shot. Next one. Ren Thielen, Glass Ball Abstract. That's cool. I've seen these glass balls for sale, and I've thought about getting one. But just haven't got there yet, but I've thought about it. They look interesting, don't they? They definitely look interesting. Tim Trim, Fire in the Sky. The formation left of centre reminds me of Thatcher's spitting image puppet. Not sure what that is, so I'm going to have to take your word for it. All right. Next one, Tim Trim. Abstract party people. Intentional camera movement during exposure. Yeah, that is pretty unique, isn't it? Very unique. Tim Trim. Abstract reflections. I think the water was a little too calm trying for that Renoir vibe. Nice. So I'm guessing that's in the water. Rentheel Jetty on Murray River, Yunderup. Cool. Wow. Bill Dunshee, Time Warp or Flower Zoom, just for the fun of it. Very cool. That looks like it's one of those ones where you do a longer exposure and you move your zoom. Jill Heath. Beautiful black and white image. That looks pretty cool. I wonder what that is. I'm trying to work it out. It looks like sequences of some sort with light reflecting off of something. Jill Heath, close-up of a wind chime with a sunset in the background. Ah, is that what that is? I thought this was the end of some timber. Isn't that interesting? It must be made out of... Could it be made out of timber? I guess it could be. Matt Sandquist. How big is the chance to find an empty passage in the London subway? Probably not very large chance, but you did. Oh, just enjoying my coffee. Ren Thielen. There's a message telling me Paul's waiting for a response from Facebook. If you're wondering what that was popped in from the right-hand side, that is a Facebook notification. All right, Ren Thielen, Jacaranda. Yeah, it's that season, isn't it? And it was funny last Sunday, because of that southerly, there was some ladies that came to my workshop that had got into the city earlier to shoot the Jacaranda, and they said they went and all the blooms had blown off, the poor buggers. Anyway, next year. Yeah, great shot. Looks good. Matt Sandquist. Another picture which may be more abstract than the other one. This could maybe be a recognisable pattern for Aussie people, but it's actually from a botanic garden in my hometown. Ah, you're thinking maybe it was Aboriginal pattern or something. All right, so that's all the entries. So the runner-up is... And by the way, the boss picks the runners-up. And if you're not sure who the boss is my wife, Nicole, or Nikki as I call her, or Nick. That is the boss. She goes through the images each week and picks out who she thinks is worthy. So this is a runner-up. You're all worthy, by the way. They're all amazing. We always have an honourable mention, which is this week is Jill Heath for this photo here. Well done. Really well done. And the person who has taken out the challenge this week is this one here, Bill Dunshee for Time Warp. And I usually post the winners up in the group, but I think I forgot last week. Isn't that shocking? All right. I will post them up in the group this week. All these jobs I've got to do. It's a one-man band. This entire show is a one-man band. So well done, Bill and Jill. Isn't that funny? They both rhyme. It was the people that had ILL in their name. They're the ones that took great photos. So well done, Bill and Jill, for taking those photos. Good job. Well done. Okay. So if you want to become a VIP, link is down below in the description. Go to Patreon, which is patreon.com/on3legs, and join the crew. And if you're wondering where the funds go to, they go to things like these lights. Now, somebody did ask me if they had reflectors on them. If you are doing video at all, by the way, this is what the actual light is. It comes with that mount that goes on top of the tripod. But this is all it is, this tiny little thing. I'll just turn it off for a tick because it's pretty bright. So that's it there. On the side of it, it has adjustments for brightness, etc. And then this here is a magnetic diffuser. So it's just 9 LEDs. There you go. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, so it's just 9 LEDs, little magnetic diffuser. They come in these awesome little cases. And by the way, I didn't get these for I paid for these. This is not a review. They come in these awesome little cases, and then inside here is other things like you can have more diffusing. So for example, you could, if you wanted to, you put that over the top. You can put whatever you like in here, really, and then you put that one on top, and now you've got additional diffusing. So it's just a bit of stuff in there. And they've got different coloured ones. So there's, you know, they're stuck together. There we go. There's the colour's out, I don't know. This one here's a nice warm one. That's a cool one. So different colour diffusers just to change what light you see. And I just love technology. I mean, look how small that is. And just really easy to use. Magnetic. There's actually some new toys coming out for filters that will be magnetic. And I'm hoping to get my hands on a set. And it's the same distributor that distributes this bag. And I just think that is that. Just try to put this light back where it's supposed to be. Will I turn it back on? Was that light good like that? Let's turn it back on and just see. Give me a bit of side lighting here. Oh, yeah. Or is it better with it off? On, off, on, off. Ah, I'll leave it on. All right. What's going on in the chat box? Let's have a look. So size says, oh, hang on. No, there's more before that. Is it snowing where you are, Chance? Got some new shots, Chance, of the snow. Got some snow shots, yeah, hopefully. Spanner, finally got around to finishing my website through the week. F73 Landscape Photography. Go and check it out, people. Spanner is Steve. He's the one that always has the really cool shots with the Canon mirrorless up in Newcastle, north of Sydney. Transparency is good. Just tell it how it is. Yeah, but some of them don't like it. Even people I know in the industry that work for suppliers have not liked some of the things I've been honest about. Anyway. I won't go in any more detail. I don't want to upset anybody. Arizona summers can kill you if not careful. No doubt. Matt says, I look 27. Beautiful. Did I bring my new glasses in? I had to go and get glasses the other day. I didn't bring them in. Because I don't have long enough arms anymore. Has this problem happened to anybody else? So, for me to read this here, everything's a little bit blurry. I have to do that to get nice clarity. Which is funny because on the D850, if I look through the viewfinder, the diopter must make adjustments for it because this little thing. Like, so I did talk about the equipment that the VIPs buy. This is the other bit of new equipment that the Patreon money bought. This is the new vlogging camera, and that is an 11 to 22 wide angle. So you're going to see much more in my vlogs than just my head now. It came with this 15 to 45, and I've also got an f22mm as well for what they call locked off shots or sitting on the tripod. That's what it buys. But that particular camera, when I was doing some filming, when I do the B-roll with a camera, I like to look through it like this because it gives me 3 points of contact. So this here is contacting my forehead, and then I've got my two hands, and it gives a much more stable shot. But this doesn't have a diopter on it. So everything was blurry. So I just had to trust the camera was focusing. So I now need to use my glasses to do that, I guess. I don't know. It's a whole new world. After 45 years, I finally have to worry about putting glasses on. Right. I look younger. 47s in the northwest of Western Australia over the weekend. Yeah, it's going to get hot, Rick. We are in the 30s here, so not quite as hot. So I thought, funny, I always thought the desk and wall behind you were further away. Yes, it does look like that, but as you can see, my hand reaches out. I'm touching that cupboard. It's a very small room. It's a study in my house. We do have a spare bedroom, and I talked about turning that into my studio, but the boss wasn't impressed. So we're going to have to campaign the boss to get me a bigger room. My goal is in a couple of years to move, and then I'll have a bigger room. I like it when my studio is outside, out and about. That'll be nice. And next year, we're going to do some exciting stuff next year. 2019, I've got some awesome plans, and a lot of it's going to be outside, I think. A lot of it's going to be inside too, but anyway. Morning from Alice, says Aussie. Who was that for? Jan. Very cool. You're younger than me, so you look marvellous. Merry Christmas, says Jan. Oh, Merry Christmas. Bit early, but that's cool. Merry Christmas. The light would be great for macro. Yeah, that is the other reason I bought it. So Greg has hit on it. So when I do my macro in Tasmania next May, when I go back there, I did have some LED lights, but I didn't have them so I could mount them on anything. These, I've got these little, it's hard to show you because I'm using them, but I've got this, it's called a magic arm. Just go on eBay and look at magic arms, and you can lock them off onto tripods or whatever you like. And so I'm going to be using these lights for my fungi shots, and they're going to be cool. They're going to be pretty cool. So yeah. Blinders about without readers. Yes. Where's my glasses, says Brian. Yeah, they're in the other room, so I'll wear them next week. I think they make me look smarter. I don't know, or older. So you know what? I know it was a compliment, but one of my long-term friends of my sister's saw me on Facebook with them on, and said, "You handsome devil, you're looking more and more like your dad every day." I don't know. Do I take that as a compliment, or that I'm looking older? I don't know. Alabama winters will bore you to death. Too warm to be cold, too cold to be warm. Very bland. There we go. Aussie says, Nick, let Ben have a bigger room, please. Yeah, so start the campaign. I think I'm in trouble, though, if you guys in the VIP group saw the photo I used for the wildlife challenge. I think I'm going to be in trouble. Okay. So, let's do this week's featured photog, which is kind of fitting because... so what I've started doing each week is I've decided that I want to do somebody who is a featured photographer out of the VIP group every second week. And every other week I'm going to do one that I'm inspired by or love to watch. So on Instagram, I've been a stalker on Instagram more than a poster up until recent. I'm really trying to use Instagram now as a tool to get the word out there and share my photography. But I hadn't really pushed it big time until probably 6 weeks ago, and I thought I'm going to take this serious and give it a go. And the reason I did that, and for those of you that are trying to grow a following in social media for your photography, Facebook has got really hard to get anywhere unless you spend money. I mean, well, really hard. I'm going to say impossible. It just is impossible. And so I've had 7,500 followers on my Facebook page for 2 years now, and it hasn't grown. Now I get new likes every week. I get people unliking every week. That's just how it is. But I get some posts that have ridiculous engagement, and I'm talking, 10, 20 shares, 100 comments, 100 likes, and out of my 7,500 followers, only 1,500 people will see it. Okay, so Facebook is saying that if it gets good engagement, they're going to show it. But even with ridiculous engagement, I mean that's good engagement. Only a small percentage of my followers are seeing my posts. So I think Facebook now is done and dusted for anybody who's not seriously wanting to spend money on growing a business. I do sponsor my posts for events. I've done a couple of those, but I don't spend a lot, So when I get the way I do it, because those of you know I've got a business background, so I do think about it from a business point of view. I love my photography, but I don't want it costing me money to run a workshop. So I will promote my workshop, get 1 or 2 ticket sales, and then I'll take a portion of those ticket sales and I'll put it into marketing my event. And so I'm always very careful that I don't spend more than what I've got in. Otherwise, what's the point? And also what my costs are going to be on the day to get there, as I give a few things out as well. So when you spend a bit of money, then you get in front of people. So $30, $40, $50 to promote an event or a post on Facebook will get it in front of another few thousand people. But they are purely just wanting your money. End of story. So I'm trying Instagram. I'm thinking for creators, it's a good platform. It's got tougher, but I think it's got a good tougher because there's a lot of Instagrammers with a lot of followers that have got them the wrong way. And I don't want to talk about that, but there's a lot of incongruent ways or dishonest ways, I guess, or tricky ways to get followers. So I'm just posting photos every day and I'm following other great photographers and liking their work. So if you are on Instagram and I haven't followed you, hit me up a message. I'll follow you. Check me out. That's what we can do. In fact, I'll just share those handles right now. So you've got my social media handles. But I think Instagram is a good place to go for photographers because it's very visual and it's an active community, great community. So there'll be a featured photographer in the VIP group one week and a featured photog. It was a long way of telling you that, wasn't it? From something else like Instagram or something else. And it is Facebook's little sister, and you know what? They'll probably do the same thing on it eventually. So it's just incredibly frustrating. The best way is to have your own website, which I know some of you do. My website's just about to be released with a new website, so we've just been waiting on that. That's exciting. A good mate of mine has revamped it for me. So let's jump over to my screen because this week's featured photographer is a VIP, and the VIP is Jill Heath. So this is what I want you to do. She's only got 20 followers on her page. We are going to try and double that today. There's enough people on this live to double that. I want you to go to Facebook on your phone, look up Gillian Heath Photography. So it's Gillian with Jillian, Heath Photography. Now, Gillian's part of the VIP group, and I've been watching Jill improve since she's been in the group, and it's one of the most rewarding things is watching people grow. Last week, I got a message from Anthony, who we got one of his images to critique this week. Anthony, won a couple of awards and some runners-up in his photography group, in a photography club, and he was saying a lot of it was to do with watching the critique shows, and it's good to know that because I do these critiques every week, and you wonder how much does it help you, or is it just entertaining to jump online for a bit? But I think there's enough. I think there's enough people improving to see that it definitely works, that you're definitely getting results. Anyway, Jill has been in the group for a while, and her photography is really cool. I love what she does with these flowers and stuff. So let's just have a look at some of her work. Butterfly, there's the moon. Look at this one here. Beautiful shot. So, and that was, I think, Gillian went out with Michael Sneddick last week. So Michael Sneddick's a good mate of mine, wildlife photographer up in Brizzy. He's the one that I do the Tassie workshops with. In fact, it's his company. I just, I'm like an appendage that forces him to run a workshop that I can invite my crew to. But, she's got some great shots, and you can go through and check out Jill's work, but I want you to go and like her page right now. So she's got 20. Let's see if we can make it 40. Good to see it's 25 already. Well done. There you go. That's the power of social media at work. So anybody who watches this live stream, go and like Jill's page. Let's support each other as photographers. That's really cool. Good to see people jumping over there and liking her page. 27 already. There we go. We've already got her about a 30% increase in followers. The power of social media. Okay. Alrighty. So, good job, everybody. Well done. And that is sharing the love, my friends. That is sharing the love. All right. So let's jump into the critiques for the week. I'll just check Jill's Facebook page one more time. Let's see if we can hit 30 before I do the critiques. 28. We're two off. Two more people do it. Go on. 2 more people like Jill's page. I don't even know if Jill's not even here today. She's going to be going, what's going on? Why is my page getting so many likes? Oh, yeah, I love it. Yep, we're still at 28. We need 2 more. I feel like an auctioneer. 28. Can we see 29? Can we see 20? Can we see 30? Can we see 30? Let's see. Can we see 30? Oh, I'm going to stop refreshing the page. We're at 28. That's where we're at the moment. I'll come back and check it later because we will get some people that come and watch the show late, and they start at the beginning. They don't get to that part. So there might be 36 viewers, but some of them aren't up to this part yet. That's how it works. So let's jump into today's critiques. Who's excited about the change of season, by the way? I can see that Chance maybe not. I'm excited. I wonder, hey, Aussie, how do you feel about summer being in the outback? Because those that don't know, the Australian outback is a pretty unforgiving place to be in the summer. from a heat point of view. So Aussie, I don't know how you're thinking it is going to be. We're up to 31. Good job. Woo. Well done, gang. Sorry, I just had to celebrate that. I saw it come through in the chat. Yeah, the Outback's a pretty unforgiving place in the summer, so I don't know if people that live in the Outback actually look forward to it. I was talking to some clients of mine up in Broome yesterday, and they said it was starting to get ridiculously hot up there, up on the northern end of WA. And they actually shut parts of the Outback for travellers during summer because it's so dangerous. So if you want to cross the Simpson Desert, you can't do it. I think it's between November and March. Someone might correct me if I'm wrong. Now, so Anthony's saying he's not a fan of summer. 40 degrees for most of this week. It's pretty hot, isn't it? So, good. We're up to 32. Thanks, Chance. 23 Celsius for Tim. 23. Winter. Yeah, that is cold for up there. Where are you? Winter. Where's Tim McCusker? Florida, yes. But you're in a very nice climate. You're sort of like in the same climate that our North Queenslanders are in, I think. But I love summer. Summer is just my favourite time. The only challenge is that sunrise is so early. Like, so early. And I was actually thinking about going to shoot sunrise this morning because I'm doing my content real time at the moment. Normally I'm a couple of vlogs ahead, which gives me time to edit. I actually haven't edited anything for tomorrow night's vlog. I do have some footage, and it's footage that I'm not 100% happy with. So I've got to decide. Well, I don't think I'm going to be. I haven't been through it all yet. So I've got to decide, do I use that or do I go out and film something else or do I just skip a week? It's always hard. It's always hard, this YouTubing thing. All right. I'm going to jump into this. Let's jump across to Lightroom. Have a look. So this week's images is from Anthony Younghusband and Ren Thielen. Good to have a couple of great images coming in. Anthony, I'm super jealous of yours. I went back to Cradle Mountain. So I've been to Cradle Mountain, Tassie, I think 3 times I went there this year. And I never got snow on the mountain. I know, I'm upset, but there you go. Just acting. Just acting a little bit. Oh. So I am very jealous of this photo. I'm going to critique it a little bit because I think there's a couple of things I would have done differently. That's okay. That's why he sent it in. And this one here's by Ren Thielen, and beautiful close-up of a waterfall and some rocks. We're going to talk a little bit about this one as well and what we could do to maybe make it better. Because that's what this is all about, isn't it? Is improving our photography. Now I've got something going on funny over here. There we go. Okay. So let's start with this one here. I'm going to do lights out. Now, if you don't know how to do lights out, by the way, I was doing Lightroom tips every week, and then I run out of Lightroom tips. So maybe it's time to repeat some in case you forget what they are. You press the L button on your keyboard, and it does this thing called lights out, which is kind of cool. And then if you want to get rid of these menus on the side, depending on the size of your image, so you'll see this image is at 1:1. So I can make it bigger. I can make it fill, for example. So you can press the fill button. And if you want to get rid of the menus on the side, you just press your tab key and then you do lights out. And then you get this black background. And it gives you an opportunity to look at an image without any other distractions. And I love looking at images this way. Now, this image is stunning. I'm going to have very little to say about this image. It is a stunning image. Now, let me tell you that the top of the mountain in Cradle Mountain is only visible for a very small amount of times per year. And I think they said 65 days or something. Somebody might correct me because I know quite a few of you have been there. There's 65 days they were saying. Now, out of those 65 days, the chances of getting no wind is also very slim, and the way you get these reflections off the lake is by having no wind. So this is quite a unique shot, and I'm quite jealous to say the least, because you've also got snow on the peak of the mountain, of the cradle on the right-hand side there. So beautiful shot. And I know that if I jump out of... Oh, what's going on? Sometimes my screen changes. There we go. All right. It depends what I click on, and sometimes I don't have the app active and I start pressing buttons and nothing happens. It affects the other app. So this is a little bit of a monologue from Anthony. He says, I arrived at Dove Lake that morning just before sunrise. As I was walking up to the track to the boat shed, a heavy cloud quickly moved in, covering Cradle Mountain. So this is pretty normal. To add to that, a large photography video crew was set up at the boat shed doing a fashion shoot. People and equipment were set up everywhere. All wasn't that bad, as a gent came down to see me and a few others and informed us that they would not be there for too long and he would have everything moved very shortly. And then the catering people even offered them coffee. The cloud didn't move for ages, so I headed back down to the car to wait it out, and happy I did, because the cloud moved out to reveal this iconic location. So as you can see, it's a very rare thing when the cloud is not there. And you're going to be very lucky. So good shot, Anthony. So let's look at the technical details. We've heard a bit about the how it happened on location. We've given you that background, and mate, I just love the composition. Absolutely love it. I think you've nailed the composition. Now you are in the chat, so you can tell us a bit about it. I'm going to ask you: did you use a CPL filter at all, or not? Because that's the danger when you want reflections. You don't want to use one, but you've got a nice rich sky, so I'm a bit unsure. So I'd love to know that. But otherwise, he's told me Canon 80D, ISO 100, f8, 1/100th of a second. So all of that's good. There's no reason not to have gone to a higher f-stop. You probably would have taken less risk with your foreground, and we'll have a look at that. But I can see that it looks like it's a bit soft down the front here, but I'll double check that in a second, the best that I can. Don't be afraid to try different things. Now this lens, he shot it with the Sigma 18-35 f1.8 art lens, and these lenses are designed for what they call bokeh, which is that shallow depth of field blur in the background. So these art lenses, this whole series by Sigma is designed to help enhance that. Now you've got to remember that when you're using them for something like landscape, because you typically, and this is just, I guess, traditionally what people have done with landscape photography, you typically want everything sharp. Not saying you need to, but typically. So you've got to be careful when you use a lens that is designed for something else, that it doesn't affect your shot for the purpose you're using it. So let's zoom into down here, and we'll just have a look at the bottom and see. Yeah, it looks to me like it's definitely not sharp down there. This is a bit harder to spot because it's in the water as a reflection, but the rocks look like they're not sharp. But it's hard to tell because I don't have a very large image. It doesn't affect the image greatly, but it's just something to think about. My other bit of feedback would be this rock here is right in that reflection. And I don't know what you would have done to get around that composition-wise. But this is where moving left and right can move things around. If you moved to the right, you're going to squash this maybe too close, but it would move... or you move to the left, it would move this right or left. And you could have tried to get it to be in here, in the cradle, and then you'd be able to easily clone it out because it would just disappear. Where it is now, you could clone it out or Photoshop it out. And the way that I would do it, just so everyone knows how I would do it, is I would open this in Photoshop. So if you right-click an image when you're in Lightroom and you go edit in and you say edit in Photoshop. Now I won't do it because I think my computer will probably crash if I open up another application. But that's what you do, right? You would then create a copy of this and then you would flip it, and you would flip it vertically. So you would have your photo upside down. I would then try and bring this through, like I would try and, on the original image, I would try and heal that out because you'll never be able to blend over the top of that rock. So I would hill that out to the best of Photoshop's ability. And then what I would do is I would use the actual mountain to create the reflection. That's what I would do. But you know what I'm like with these things. I find that to be a distraction. Along with these lighter parts here. And so those sort of things to me just draw the eye away from the hero of the shot. Now, it's a beautiful shot, so I'm nitpicking, right? I don't want you to think for a second that I'm nitpicking. These here are actual reflections of up here, these big patches of snow. So you'd have to be careful if you decided to remove them. I probably wouldn't, but this one here definitely I would do something with, even if you just reduce the exposure on this. So we'll have a look at the effect that can have, because it is quite in your face. Everything else looks amazing. That lens, because you've shot this at 18mm, I don't know how much lens correction you've done, but there's like no distortion. It's pretty bloody good. So I'm really impressed. Because that's one of the issues with anything wide angle is this distortion you get. But this is a really good shot. So let's just jump into the develop module for a second. And let's have a look at this rock and what we could possibly do. I'm going to just get a brush. And I'm going to put everything back to 0. So if you want to put this, another tip for you, if any of your sliders, so for example, let's say if I move these sliders everywhere, if you want to put them back in the middle, you just double click the word, or you can double click the slider itself. Okay, so if you've done something and you don't like it, just double click it and it puts it back exactly in the middle, because it's really hard to get it to go back to 0, you know, with a tablet or a trackpad. Maybe not so hard. Even with a mouse, I don't think it's easy. So yeah, just double click and that will make it go away. And on these pens, let me show you this pen here. On these Wacom tablet pens, you can actually program these buttons. So, I don't know how many of you use a Wacom tablet, but you can program one of those buttons for double click, which is what I have. Sorry, I just had to cough. And what that means is that it's nice and simple to do those things. You don't think you used a CPL? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and, let's use this brush. I'm going to try and, I'm going to drop the exposure to -4, which is way too much. What we're going to do is we're going to do this. Don't worry about how dark it is right now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the exposure until it's almost not obvious that I did it. Now, if there's an area like here's too dark now, if you hit the, here's another Lightroom tip for you. If you hit the Alt or Option key, see the plus turns into a minus, and it's actually a totally different brush, so you can have a different size. So you can adjust the brush size for your minusing, and then you can undo some of it. So I'm just going to take away what I did under that rock, and then back onto the rock again, and just drop it down a little bit more. Yep, I'm liking that. I'm just going to drop it down a little bit more. Okay. So this rock now, I'm just going to get rid of, I'm going to pressing the minus just around the bottom of the rock there, because it'll look weird. Okay. Now this is really rough, but let's now have a look, if I go back out, at the before and after. See the difference in that rock? It's just there, that's the before, and that's the after. So sometimes just a little bit, and I'm not happy with it 100%, so I'm going to go back in there. I'm going to grab that brush again. So I'm going to continue to edit this with this brush. I want to edit this brush. Where is it? Where's my little brush gone? What I want to do now is I'm going to just, what's going on? Why is it not coming up? Something is stuck on somewhere. See, this hand shouldn't be there. It should be a pointer. Something is playing up. Let me just go back to library, come back to develop. Something weird is going on. Why is it doing this to me? Maybe someone knows how to get it off the hand. Why is it on the hand? I don't want to move. No, I don't want to do that. Bloody thing. Because even if I select a brush, it's not letting me do anything. Look, it's just staying as a head. This is the problem. Oh, it's because I'm in before and after. You knucklehead. See what happens on live? So I want to adjust that existing brush. Okay, so this, you can see where the existing brush is. I'm just going to go back into 4:1, and then let's adjust the existing brush. You can see all the haloing around it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to remove, once again, just around the rock to get rid of the darkness, because I think it's too dark around the rock. Yeah, thanks, Si, you spotted it before I did. I don't know why I didn't spot that, but there you go. Okay. There we go. Before, after, that's better. Can you see the difference of that distraction? So, I'll go into lights out so we can see it like that. There's before, and there's after. Now, that rock is no longer a big feature in the foreground of that image, and it's a little less obvious that there's a big rock there. So just little things like that sometimes, I mean, that took hardly any time to fix, can make a big difference. The other thing I would do, and I do this all the time with reflections, is I use a clarity brush on, so let me just reset that to 0. I use a clarity brush on the reflections. Okay, so I'll do that. And I think it just adds a new, and you've probably seen photos that look like this and think, is that fake? And quite often it's just the clarity brush. Now I've gone a bit overboard, but I always go full and then I back it back to where I like it. Full really shows you where you've been. So something like that, I would do. I'm just going to add a little bit of contrast to the reflections as well. There we go. You know the other thing that works actually? Let's go back into that particular brush and edit it, and we'll add a bit of dehaze. I'll just show you what it does. So as an alternative to contrast, let me get rid of the contrast that I added, and we'll just add some dehaze to it. And that also works really well. So now if we'll go lights out, and I'll do his before and his after. See the difference in the water where the reflection is? It just adds that certain something, gives it more depth, and you know, to me, I find that really appealing. So Christopher Stubbs says that's a little rough, ends up spot on. Yeah, sometimes it can, sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, I'm really happy with that. So that's before and after. I wouldn't change too much else. The only other thing you could do, and these are little things that make subtle difference. Let's grab another brush. This is what I love about Lightroom. I'm going to get rid of the clarity. Let's do saturation. So go once again 100%. Let's just saturate these colors on this bit of foreground, and because there's not a lot of separation between this headland and the main mountain. So I'm just going to give it a bit of and up here, this bush here. What time of year was this? Is this Vegas turning a little bit or something? A little bit of color there. Okay, so the other thing you can do is you can actually play with things like the temp if you want to. So I could, if I wanted to, maybe give that a little bit more warmth, drop the sats down, warm it up a little bit, and I'll show you the difference once again. Let's go lights out, before, after. Okay, so you can start to see just the effect that you have. Actually, you know what? I've got another idea of something that I like to do, and I do this quite often. You've probably all seen it. Is this one here, which is I'm going to grab a graduated filter. Let's just go back to 1:1, and get out of the before. I've got a graduated filter. Hold down the shift key, and what that does is means your graduated filter will always be horizontal. Just bring it up a little bit from the bottom. So there we go. I've let go of the shift key, and that was what happened. So let go of your graduated filter. There we go. Just bring it up a bit from the bottom. I'm going to get rid of that saturation. And just drop the exposure slightly. Now I'll go right down so you can see what it does. This is what I call a letterbox vignette. I don't know anybody else that does it. I do it on a lot of my images. Okay, and then I'll grab another one so you can see how it just darkens the bottom. I'll do another one on the top. Same thing, get rid of that saturation, just drop the exposure slightly. and it just draws the eye more into the image. So let's letterbox it. Let's do a before and after. Oh, look at that. That is stunning. Oh, I'm so jealous. I got to get back there and get this shot. Oh, let's just do a fill, which is bigger than it actually is, but it gives you an idea. Okay, so let's do before and after. So this is before, and this is after. So what was already a cracking shot, I've just made a few improvements to, and I really like that. Look at that. I would be printing that and putting it on my wall for sure. What do you reckon, guys? I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Well done, Anthony. That is a cracking shot. Cracking shot. And of course, you know, Mother Nature played her part, which was good, but good composition. Perfect composition, almost. I would say I wouldn't change the composition. Perfect composition. And let's just look at composition. So just so you can get a feel for what's going on here, I'm going to put the rule of thirds over at the top, and I'll tell you why this works so well. You know, you're looking at this image thinking, why does this image look so good? Well, each of the intersections of the rule of thirds has something amazing on it. And that is where this rule just comes into its own. Every single intersection. Now, this is the only time, by the way, when you're using reflections, it's the only time where you can sort of put the horizon or, you know, something like this, where the reflections start in the middle of your image. It works really well. And so every part of this image is on an intersection. So that's why it works so well. Yeah. Good image, mate. Well done. I think you should be super proud of that image, and it was a joy to be able to do a bit of critiquing on it. I hope you found my little tips helpful, and that you can do the same thing yourself and get those changes happening. All right, let's jump into the second one before we run out of time, because that's what's going to happen at this rate. It's going to happen. What does everyone think of that image, by the way? Let's have a look and see what's going on in the chat box quickly. Okay, so it looks like we've got Jill up to at least 33. Few storms with road closures, all good. Andrew says, join the club. What club are you joining? Is that the Glasses Club, Andrew, or something else? I don't know. Netwolf, I like winter as an amateur astronomer. More clear nights and longer evenings. Cold is fine. Yeah. Have another cup of coffee? Maybe I need to. Aussie Paul, talking to each other. There we go. It was a fluke visit, says Anthony. I think you did a great job, buddy. Outstanding, yes, outstanding. Crack a shot, crack a shot. There we go. Good stuff. One of the best you've seen critiqued, says Si. Yeah, great shot. Oh, you got no edited video for this week either, says Andrew. The life of a YouTuber. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been making a real effort to put up 2 videos a week. So Wednesday, I'm using a schedule of Wednesday night for like an in studio video, and Sunday night for an outdoor vlog. And so far, I've been doing that for about 4 weeks, and I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it, and it's just about prioritization, because, you know, last night I could have edited the video footage that I had, but I was knackered. I'd had a big week, really big week, and I sat on the lounge having a couple of beers and watching YouTube, which I know you'll all understand because you do the same. Maybe not the beer, but definitely the YouTube. So that's what I did last night. I just chilled out. I actually came in and I opened Premiere Pro, which is my editing software. I loaded all my footage in from the shoot. And I went, I just don't feel like doing it. I don't have it in me. I'm knackered. And I don't want to do it when I'm tired. So that's what happened. All right, let's just jump back into Lightroom and have a look at this one. So this one here is from Ren Thielen. Ren Thielen's also a long-time VIPer and has been a long-time contributor to the show. And this is a waterfall taken somewhere near his house. Ren lives in an amazing location in WA where, you know, he shares his backyard with us, and it's, you know, it's an amazing backyard. Like, I think we saw one with a windmill in the VIP group, and he says, just in my backyard. Yeah, lovely spot to live. So this one here's Ren. He's got this waterfall that he's shot, and I want to talk a little bit about composition here, and I know I bang on about this all the time. With composition plays such a big part in the overall appeal of an image. So I think this shot could have been improved from a composition point of view, and I'll talk to you about why in a second. And we're going to try something to see if we can. I've got quite a large file. Ren always shoots me good size files, so we'll have a look at that in a second. From a technical aspect, he's shot it on a Nikon D7200. He's got an 18 to 35mm 1.8 lens. Ren's got this amazing collection of old Nikon lenses, which some of us have seen when he shared his shot kit. And so they're great lenses, and so that's what he's shooting with here. And he's got it at 0.4 of a second at f13, focal length of 25mm, ISO 100. So technically, everything's pretty good. Not going to get much better than that. You could go to a higher f-stop if you wanted to. That's going to give you a longer shutter speed. That might not give you the effect that you want, and you know, have other effects. You know, you're very close to this side, and it looks like it's, you know, in focus. So I think that lens does a pretty good job at that aperture. So I would say you don't have to worry about depth of field. That aperture works. From a composition point of view, this here is like being hit in the face with something on the right hand side. I make my mouse pointer big. It is really dominating, but I feel like this should be the hero of the shot. This over here, this stream of water here. So part of me wants to crop it portrait, something like, you know, even like I don't know, something like this, just to capture that one essence, you know, that one thing. Part of me wants to do that just to get that, because I think it's the hero. I really do. I think it's the hero of the shot. The problem is, and this is the rule of thirds thing, right? So you can see I've put the grid back over it. When you're taking a shot, and you've got this grid on your live view on most cameras, when you're taking the shot, just pay attention to these things, because I think it'll make a big difference. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to move it over. In fact, let's do like an 8x10, because that'll work on this shot. 8x10 crop. 8x10 is what a large format was, or medium format's 4x5, same ratio. So I'm doing 8x10, and let's have a look and see how that works. Now that's probably a bit better, but it's still the challenge here. So even with the rule of thirds, this image still doesn't work as well for me, and that's because the water is heading out of the image. Okay, see it's going to the left. You know, I think if it was coming into the image, it would probably work better. I'm just undoing my crop. If this water was flowing in this way, it would probably work better. So to me, I think you've just got to be careful when you compose shots that you think about those kind of things. Now, I don't know if you could have got into here. I would have removed this stick out, because I think it doesn't add anything. If it was a big solid branch with character, maybe leave it in. I would just get in there and pull that out by hand so it was gone. But yeah, so I think this one here is a lesson on composition. If you'd moved more to the left, this is really in your face, this foreground. Once again, I wasn't there, so I don't know what was and what wasn't possible. Sometimes putting a zoom lens on, getting your camera in portrait orientation and zooming right in on something can give you something different. So, for example, if you were to zoom right in on this waterfall, let's do it. So it's really a tight crop. You know, sometimes something like this, you know, can work really well. So don't be afraid to jump right in on the action. And I'll just do a quick edit on this to see if I can show you why this would work really well. But it could work. You know, you could have something like this. You You know, I'm just mucking around here a bit with the colours. Give me the white balance right. You know, sometimes it can work really well. I'm just going to move around a bit. It just tells a bit of a different story, and, you know, it just gives you something else to play with. So don't be afraid sometimes to zoom right in and try different things, because that can help as well. I mean, once again, I don't like saying that a photo is not good, because it's your photo, right? If you took it and you enjoy it, you love it, then it's a great shot. There's no doubt about that, which is why I don't like competitions, because judges tell you their point of view, okay? So if this means something to you, then fantastic. But to me, that's what I would have done. The other thing you could have done was focused on these little cascades coming off of this rock, you know, same sort of thing. You could have done something different with this. And sometimes it's the small things that give you a different sort of feel, you know. There's many things that you can do with photography, so just keep that in mind. That's something to keep in mind. All right. So that is pretty much it for this week's show. What did you think of the lighting? Hopefully it's made the viewing better. I'm not in the dark. I'm casting a shadow with this microphone though, aren't I? Yeah, that's all right. So I think the sound is more important than the lighting anyway. All right, let's check the chat box and see what's going on. As we finish up, by the way, feel free. I encourage you to share your social media handles in the chat box so each of you can follow each other. A lot of people shun against it. I am 100% happy to share the love. Hi, Izzy and Paul. Are you on Facebook or Instagram? Just share them in the chat box, guys. That's cool. Anthony says, thanks. You're welcome. Top shot, Anthony, says Andrew. Yes, it is. Printworthy, says Susan. Yes, it is. Fantastic image. Fantastic. Love the changes. Nice one. Great shot. Good stuff. Jan, you're on both as well. Ryan Mason, g'day. Wish I could afford a zoom lens. Hopefully Santa will bring me a 70 to 200. Hopefully. Well, I hope so too. The 70-200 is a cracking lens. I've got the VR2 for the Nikon, and it's a great lens. I don't use it anywhere near enough because it's a heavy bloody lens. So I was thinking about trying to find a lighter weight one. I've got it. Yeah, when you show your things, here's Aussie Paul's YouTube channel. There we go. Go and subscribe to Aussie Paul. He's just kicked off with a little bit of content. So I've just shown that link. Yeah, I'd like to find a lighter lens that I can use as a zoom lens. I had the 28-300. I've got that. And for landscape, I actually think that's probably going to be okay. It's a lighter lens. It's not as good a quality, but I'm thinking that I'm just going to use that lens instead of the 70-200. I did have it up for sale, but it didn't sell. You get lots of stupid offers when you sell stuff. So Ryan says, living in the UK, I don't get to catch the full episode live. I'll have to catch up again. Yes, you'll have to go Back. Boz Beaver just bought the 105 VR macro. What is my opinion about that? The Nikon lens. I've never used it. I bought, when I looked for a macro lens about 10 years ago, I looked at all the reviews and I ended up buying the Sigma 105 because the reviews were great and it was cheaper. And I can honestly say I've taken a lot of shots with it and been really happy with the quality of it. So I think that, yeah, I can't complain about that. I can't see the Nikon not being good either, so it should be good. VR, for me, for macro, I wouldn't use VR because I'm always on a tripod. Is anybody using VR with their macro lens? Hand holding? I don't think you would. I don't know. Maybe you would. Don't know. I don't hand hold with my... I guess if you're doing insects, would you hand hold? I don't know. Really hard to focus with macro handheld, I think. So, yeah. So Aussie Paul says, if anyone subs me on YT, which is YouTube, I'm kicking off in 2019 some early vlogs already filmed. Go and check it out. Go and like Aussie's channel. Sharing the love. Photography. Dear Santa, can I have a Fujifilm rangefinder, please? I love my little Fuji. Look at mine. This thing here. The XE1. Love it. Perfect little camera. If you just want something light to carry around, and that's the Japanese-made f2 18mm prime lens. They don't make them anymore. Hard to get. Japanese-made. They're making all the lenses in China now. What are they doing? So if you've got a Japanese Fuji lens, hang on to it. All right. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me for Pixel Chatter this week. Just a reminder, if you're not already, you can follow me on social media. Here are my social media handles. Of course, my YouTube channel, which is where we are hanging out right now, is the other place. But very active on Instagram. So go over there and hang out with me on Instagram. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in for this week's Pixel Chatter. See you next week. And until then, get out there and take some photos. Cheerio.